We all agree that the best upgrade anyone can do to their car audio system is add a subwoofer. Well, powered subwoofers are where you have the box, the amplifier, and the subwoofer all in one. Super easy installations. But as you look into it, you see ones from all over the price. Let's go through $229, $329, $399, three models, shootouts head to head. Let's jump right into it and get down to business and let them fight to see who the winner is, all right? As we start round one, guys, we jump right into the bass knobs. It sounds weird, but it's the only part that your hands actually touch, so it's going to a deep dive, round one. What's fun is they're going to be the winner between MTX, Kicker, or Memphis Audio. Jumping right in.
Round one, fight!
Hey guys, pardon the angle difference, but I want to go into the bass knobs, and there's some really reasons why. If you just said a self-powered sub makes power, yes it does. They're all at different price points, yes they are. But let's go over the bass knobs, okay? So first off, we're going to start out with the Kicker one, alright? And I can say, you know, it is nice. It's got the Kicker logo on it, and it does have some nice little adjustments that go through. And then, like I said, on the side of the amp, you'll see it uses a 3.5 millimeter. So it's easy plug-in, easy removal. It's, you know what? It's quite nice that way. You know, it's just simple like that. Now, moving on. Memphis. Now, like I was joking earlier, guys. If you guys remember, a telephone cable, or they call it an RG45 nowadays, okay? But it simply unplugs as well. So, and it's also the same at both ends, easily to replace it, which is quite nice. Now, there's one thing I do want to talk about here with the Memphis is you will see it has a simple up and down, which is quite nice. It does have a little bit of clicks, which is pretty nice too. You see it has the numbers, just very similar to, I mean, it's got to look, it's more bass, less bass. They chose to go min max and they charged to use numbers. But one thing I do really like, power light. I really like the power light to show that it's on. You know, I think that's, I like it. You know, some people might not like it. Some people do. I think it's actually a neat little feature of being able to see the power light so you know it's working and you know exactly what's going on. Now, the MTX is a little bit of a different animal, and it's very thick. It is a 3.5 mil that goes on, but it's no pressing. It's a true knob, and I don't feel able to see that because I know it's black on black, but it just simply moves, kind of like your thumb, like a thumb wheel. Now I was trying to think about, you know, if I mounted this into a center console, or maybe it's easier to grab, you know, in a cup holder with the fingers. I'm not sure, but then you can see, like I said, use your fingers to adjustment. Like I said, 3 different bass knobs, 3 different companies. What's one winner? What's fun out who wins round one?
Fatality.
Round one, winner, Memphis. Reason being, I know it sounds simple, okay, but having that power light on the bass knob, I really think makes a big difference. So you know what's going on. If you look at it this way, they're all the same. Do they all turn the bass up and down? Yes, they do. One actually has an indicator. Yes, it does. So I think that's the winner today. Jumping right in, next round. We're going to walk through the mounting of the units now. How do they actually mount or integrate into your car? We're talking about that. You're going to see an overhead view, so bear with me on it. It's a new style for me. If you like that style, please let me know down below.
Round two, fight!
Hey guys, I want to show the mounting for round two, okay? Because this is where it really makes a difference. Do they all have metal housing? Yes. Is 2 A10s and 1 H? Yes. It's all there, okay? But this is where I notice a few things, okay? So this is the Kicker, obviously. And bear with me, guys. I'm trying this overhead, and I apologize. But you know what I would like? Would like to hear in the comments, do you guys like this style of overhead and getting kind of a little bit deeper so you guys understand? So, as you can see, it's all indented, okay? So what they offer is a metal bracket that goes in like this. So obviously it would be 2 tabs going out, okay? Now if I want to go the other way, I can go this way. So consequently, see you in a second. Sorry guys. So if I want to go up like this and put 2 on each end, see how it is? All right. Or go like this, okay? So that's the one thing I find interesting about the Kicker, okay? the Memphis. Okay. I find this one rather interesting. I'm going to go a little bit different here, right about here. What I don't fully understand are these. See, it has two little holes, as you can see in the light, with the tabs. Now, I do kind of like this, so like if you have to maneuver it a little bit, the screw, but that being said, and I know it's going to be kind of off camera a little bit, but this goes here. Okay? Consequently, this one goes here. But what I find weird is this. So it only uses 3 points of contact. I don't know about that one. Okay? I think it's a little odd. Now, there might be a reason why they can't screw here and here. Because why did they do this, and then one different one over here? I don't know. You know what I mean? But to me, I find this a little bit peculiar. But you might say, well, you know what? Maybe they want to mount it straight up and down, but then all the wires are here. But I will admit, sometimes you have to do things a little bit differently for these style of subs, okay? Now, consequently, this is the 8-inch of our group, okay? I've already commented on how I really like the aesthetics and everything on it, but this is also something I find kind of neat, and I find this interesting in the lowest priced one that we have. As you can see here, there's a little tip, okay? So what they've done, I'll go over this one, is they have a little tip to keep it in place. Okay, so this way when you bolt this down, it has a guide. I think that's pretty interesting, to be honest with you. Okay, now I will say you can't mount it the other way. It has to be feet out. Okay, so up here is where the Memphis one was. So could you say maybe it's a pro or it's a con? I don't know. I really like things bolted down strong. Like I never want something to move and hit someone or move and break or get damage or damage a car. All right. So here's mounting. So let's find out of these 3 units, which one is the winner. Is it going to be the Kicker? Is it going to be the MTX? Or is it going to be the Memphis? Stay tuned for my decision on round 2.
Fatality.
All right, winner of this round is Kicker. Now I'm going to say almost Kicker and the MTX are exactly the same. Why? Metal feet, 4 points of contact, but I will say the Kicker squeaks out the MTX because it can go vertical or horizontal mounting with the same mounts. That's what I called today. All right, next round. All right, next round, we're jumping into the features. So we're going to go through the end where you get to see all the connections and all the features they come with. Let's find out who has the best features. We're getting close to finding out who the winner is today.
Round 3.
Hey, I want to go into these feature set, okay, for round 3. We're going to get into a little bit into the weeds, but it's going to be splitting hairs for a lot of these products, okay? It's just how it is, okay? So I just want to get into this one. If you look here, auto turn on, okay? What that means is, does it turn on with music, or does it turn on with a turn on lead, which means a 12-volt trigger from the head unit? Do I want it high level or low level? Phase is 0, 180, power light, bass boost, crossover, gain. This is where the bass knob plugs in. Remember, it looks like an earphone jack. And then this is my one question here, guys, okay? You have it here, and you have obviously powers, grounds, turn on lead to make it turn on. Then you have a speaker lead, so you have left positive, right negative, etc. But this one does not have, interesting enough, RCA's ends. Okay? Now, you can put an RCA on these ends and then switch the input from low to high. But is that a good thing or a bad thing? I'm not sure, but keep in mind, even if I use high-level adapter and upgrade to an aftermarket radio, you can still use the signal from the radio, but RCAs are kind of nice because you can fade them and stuff. But like I said, we're splitting hairs at this point. Now, into the MDX. So with the MTX product, you have RCA in, a high level in, so you can do speaker lead just like the kicker was, gain control, bass boost, high level adapter, and they have the same thing as in members. They have that 3.5 mil input for a remote. Then it has phase 180 or 0, and then power and sub lights. All right, if there's a problem, you notice the same size fuse that the kicker had, and then I got 12 volts remote and ground. Okay, so like I was pointing out to the kicker didn't have these. This is what I was referring to, the RCAs. All right, let's move on to the Memphis. All right, here we are at the Memphis. Okay, so protection light, power light, phase. It also has the auto sensing turn on lead, low pass, bass boost, input gain. Remember the remote turn on lead I showed you that it kind of has it's called the RG45, or if you're old, like I said, you'd remember that's a phone jack. High level input plus RCA input. And now this is where you can change the colors of the LEDs for the RGB. All right, and those are on the sides here and here. So it has down firing, coloring, RGB, sorry, and then 12 volts remote and ground. All right, they're all very similar, but there are very nuances of what's going on.
Fatality.
Winner of this round, Memphis Audio. Downfiring passive radiator, RGB lighting, adjustable RGB lighting, and having RCAs that squeaks out the kicker a little bit. I understand, but we are splitting hairs and going into the weeds, but we're trying to find a difference between 229, 329, and 399 here today. And today, the Memphis is one on features.
Finish him!
All right, to sum it all up, winner today at 329, Memphis Audio. Why? Bass knob, and I like the feature set. I will admit I didn't like the mounting. I don't like the 3-point mounting. I like the 4-point mounting. So it is Memphis though, 2 out of 3. Now, that being said, going on to the kicker, though I really do like it. It's the most expensive, but let's just call it, for about $80 difference, is it have more bass. It's impossible for me to listen to them all because I have these in my Miata and I got to test them all. And I do find the performance of the kicker and the performance of the Memphis to be very similar because they're a 10-inch sub. Now, that being said, I'm going to give a caveat to the MTX. The MTX is an 8-inch driver. It's a little bit smaller, but it did have bass knob. It has all the same features except for RGB lighting and passive radiator as the Memphis. But the MTX is at $229. At $229, that's a lot of value for almost 45% cheaper than the kicker and roughly 25% cheaper than the Memphis. So even if it's 10% as good, you're actually getting a good deal. But also too, why I say that, if you've had in the past a subwoofer in a box, it would say a single 10 or single 12, I actually think you will like the performance of the Memphis or the kicker better. I really will, because you always have an expectation of bass, okay? If you're just getting into it though, and you're looking to get into it, I would try the MTX. At $229, even if you didn't like it and you go to get rid of it down the road, you can probably sell for a couple $100 to a friend. I really like it though. It had full build quality, it had a bass knob, has all the features. It's a little bit smaller woofer, I will give you that, but let's face it, if you're a little bit older like me, we're not listening to the DJ jazzy bass, we're listening to rock, heavy metal, or older rock, all right? Like I said, today's winner Memphis, kicker, right up there. But for value, I'm going to give it to the MTX, but still, for this whole test, Memphis, number 1. By the way, if you're a returning viewer, hey, I'm glad to see you back. If you're new here, my name's James and welcome to the channel. Have a check it out, guys. Enjoy. One thing I will say now, with all these powered subwoofers, if you want to see how to install one, I have it here. All right, I go through a full walkthrough in a Mazda Miata, and I even show you some of the mistakes along the way. Have a look. You'll get to see that maybe you could do it yourself. If you get over your head, hey, go see a professional. But either way, let's get that upgrade in your car. Let's have some fun, feel the bass, and I'll catch you on the next video.